Greetings and welcome to my YouTube channel, The Fruitcake Astrologer, where I'll give you an experienced astrologer's view on current events and people in the news. I hope if you like this, you'll like, share, and subscribe. Today I want to talk about Brexit. Today is September 1st, and there's talk now whether Brexit will happen October 31st as planned, whether Britain will break away on the 31st, whether they'll get a deal with the EU. So first off, there was some debate about what house to rise. There was some. I discussed it with another astrologer, and maybe the ninth house of foreign things should rise. But I picked the seventh house for three reasons. One, because the seventh house rules other people, and I asked this chart not about the United States or myself, but other people, the Brits. That's seventh house. Britain is one of our strongest allies. And the seventh house also rules treaties, negotiations, and diplomacy. So I saw my three ways, so I brought the seventh house to rise, so I'm just going to move right into the interpretation. So first off, the Brits look really burned out. They are not having a good time with this. I think they have their eyes wide open that there will be pain, and it looks like they're willing to stand strong with their leader through the difficult period. In fact, I think this shows that England is furiously analyzing this deal. And I think maybe that's why they shut down the government, is because they want to focus on looking at this every which way. And Virgo analyzes, look at that big stellium in the first house in Virgo. I mean, they are just crunching the numbers. Notice that stellium in Virgo trines Uranus in the ninth house in Taurus. Uranus is the wild card, and it's in the ninth house of foreign things. And Taurus is money, so I think maybe there's a lot of negotiation going on right now with foreign countries who might be able to save them up financially. You know, maybe it's Trump. It could be other leaders as well. And I think that Britain will find significant help from these foreign financial sources. Sadly, Boris's career looks to be over. It will appear that this guy's going to own all the problems and misjudgments, and there certainly will be problems and misjudgments. The chart's pretty clear about that, maybe most especially for the expats living abroad or for foreigners who've made their home in Britain. It looks to be difficult for them. It kind of reminds me of Churchill, who before World War II wasn't very well liked, but they needed someone to come in during World War II who was willing to make difficult decisions, do the hard things that needed to be done. And it's almost like they brought in Boris to do the same thing, make the hard decisions, make the hard calls. You'll notice after the war that Churchill was not reelected. So it's like they're brought in for a purpose and then voted out. So, yes, I believe the EU, the Britons will leave the EU without a treaty because of all the oppositions, including one to the 11th house of groups. Of course, the EU is a group, and all the oppositions to Neptune in the 7th house of treaties and negotiation. It literally says no treaty. If the EU is Neptune, expect the EU to dissolve. It would appear they are exercising poor judgment, perhaps even championing misinformation campaigns. And it would appear it would be in their best interest to keep the trade deals going. Would the EU benefit from making a good deal with the Britons? Are they, shooting themselves in the foot by not giving Britain a good deal? And of course, we can justify that the EU is afraid if the Brexit is successful, then other countries will, drop out of the EU. So I see where they're coming from, but it looks like their judgment isn't sound in that area. It's also possible somewhere along the way that there will be a sex scandal coming along to muddy the waters. So yes, I do think the Brits will back out of the EU without a treaty on the 31st. I think that Boris Johnson will own all the problems, and it will cost him his career. I think that the EU is on its way out, and I would expect foreign financial help to come from the Brits, unexpected potentially, and maybe from more than one source. I would say the United States will probably help, Britain being our closest ally, but it could be other countries as well. Okay, thanks for listening. I hope you'll share, like, and subscribe.